My photo. First Baptist School Burleson 9 drops back to throw in the first quarter against Village Academy at First Baptist Academy Friday, May 26, 2017 in Naples. Photo, Luke Frankie / Naples Daily News right parenthesis by photo skip and skip X embed X share close. The Prep Zone team gets you ready for the upcoming high school football season with our daily preview from every training camp in the Southwest Florida coverage area. Today, in Ocala, Cali Crabs / Naples Daily News Baron Collier. The second week of preseason practice can be a drag. The excitement of week 1 has worn off, and there's still 2 weeks before a game. However, the Cougars had a little extra motivation this week. They get to hit someone else this weekend. Baron Collier scrimmaging Ida Baker on Saturday, part of a series of scrimmages to allow local officials to get back into a groove before the preseason games on August 18. Double quote, you get to go against another team's best players in live contact with officials there to help you clean things up. Cougars third-year coach Mark Jackson said, it gives you a step up going into the kickoff classic preseason game right parenthesis. Double quote, the scrimmage will benefit the Cougars, who start the regular season a day earlier than most teams against a strong opponent. Baron Collier opens the year against Crescent Valley, a playoff team from Low Crescent, California, on Thursday, August 24th at 9 p.m. The game is at ESPN's Wide World of Sports Complex in Kissimmee, part of a series of interstate high school football games. Adam Fisher Community School BC Hawks may only be a week into team practices, but with a roster of 11 seniors and 11 juniors, the team had no problem falling back into the swing of things. CSN coach Paul Selvadio described the week as one of the team's best preseason camps. Double quote, we have a tremendous amount of experienced players and it is showing up immediately in the pace and tempo of practice. Selvadio said, we have a plenty of work left to get ready for the season opener, but we are certainly headed in the right direction. Double quote, the chemistry is there, too. Most of the senior class have been playing together since about 8th grade. But even Tay Williams, a senior who moved to the area from Lake Placid, quickly fell into place with the program and his teammates. Selvadio said. Double quote, we single quote, Ray excited to have him. Selvadio said, we had a very experienced and talent group surrounding our quarterback Richard Razinger this year. We will once again feature a special group of student athletes that are going to excel in the classroom, on the field, and in the community. Cali Crabs Estorothy Wildcats had a productive first day of full contact practice Saturday, with both the offensive and defensive units looking good. According to coach Jeff Hanlon. Double quote, the kids were competing on both sides of the ball, which is all you can really ask for as a coach. Hanlon said, I've told them time and again, as long as we're getting better every day, I'll be happy. Double quote, Estero lost one of its biggest playmakers in the offseason, with senior wide receiver Willie Neal transferring to Fort Myers, just days after he competed in the Wildcats spring game against Golden Gate in May. Double quote, we single quote, got other receivers who will step up for us. Hanlon said, we're happy with the way our offense has looked this summer, so we'll be okay. Andrew Sodergren First Baptist. The Lions hosted a senior retreat just a few weeks ago, where the team spent a night locked in together focused on the season ahead. Double quote, it was a night that we got to get all our guys together to kick off the season and talk about, well, everything. Lions coach Billy Sparacio said, we talked about our schedule, plans, goals, dreams, and different things for the season. We had a group of kids that had been with us for a while, so we wanted to hear what they had to say. Double quote, the Lions 15-man senior class, which doesn't know what it's like to not win the district title, includes several players that are looking to follow up on a standout junior seasons. Seniors include Joe Sparacio, the coach's son, who rushed 423 yards on 45 carries and scored 8 rushing and 6 receiving touchdowns last season, along with a healthy Cole Burleson. Burleson, the Lions quarterback, returns after being sidelined early last season after tearing his ACL in week 4. Double quote, we single quote, Ray excited about this group. Sparacio said, now they got to go out and produce. This group has a lot of potential. Now it's time to see what they can do. Cali Crabs Golden Gate. The Titans went 3-7 last year and averaged 16.9 points per game, but coach Mike DiGrigoli expects both numbers to improve this season. He single quote, has already seen the offense take big strides this preseason. The Titans looked crisp in the first week of practice, DiGrigoli said, partly because they return a lot of skilled players. Golden Gate has its leading passer, its leading receiver and its 2 leading rushers back this season. That includes quarterback Jay Herard, who started as a sophomore last season. Also back is Juvensley Basile, who ran for 414 yards and 7 touchdowns last season. He also led Golden Gate, which only attempted 103 passes in 2016, with 255 receiving yards. Double quote, I single quote, am excited about what we can do offensively. Digri goalie said, "We're way underrated and under the radar." Adam Fisher Gulf Coast the Sharks are focused on tackling, blocking and looking to improve the offensive and defensive lines in practice this week. We really focus on the fundamentals and details. Gulf Coast coach Pete Fominaya said, "I think you can do a good job of coaching without pads on. But when you get the pads on you really have to focus on the fundamentals of tackling and blocking. Make sure that translates from the non-contact days. The kids will use those techniques when they are in full pads." Some players that have stood out so far to Fominaya are his experienced players. Linebackers Ryan Rogers and Colton Cormier, safety Kaiden Cecil, wide receiver Brandon Hannon and center Niko Perovic. Fominaya feels a good offensive and defensive line will be critical for a successful season. You always want to be at your best at the offensive and defensive line. Fominaya said, "When those guys are playing at a high level, you've got a chance to win any game. Most of Southwest Florida has good skilled players. But the great teams separate themselves with great offensive lines and great defensive lines, and that's what our goal is to try to be strong in those two areas so we can control the line of scrimmage." Zach Gibbons in McCully following Monday's 5 a.m. practice. Coach Rodlin Anthony was not pleased about his team heading into the second week of the preseason. "We're not where we need to be," Anthony said. "We're soft right now. There's no accountability. No mental toughness." Anthony accused his players of buying into the hype surrounding this team following the success it had last year in the coach's first season, after going 6-4 in the regular season and finishing district runner-up. McCully won 2 playoff games to advance to the regional finals. With almost every skilled player back, McCully went toe-to-toe with defending Class 6A champ Carroll City in a 64-41 loss in the spring. That performance might be adding to the Indians' swelled ego. Anthony said, "They Ray forgetting the work we did to get to the regional championship last season," said the coach. "Never one to hold his feelings back. They assume that's going to happen again because we had success in our spring game. We had a huge target on our back, and right now we're not living up to it." Adam Fisher Lilith Trojans took part in their first full contact practice Monday, and several young defenders made an impression. Sophomore linebackers Jaden Noel and Wendy Yonard made their presence felt, as did junior cornerback Luke Phillips. "We've got a group of 6 to 8 sophomores and a couple juniors that we really need to step up for us this year," Ole coach Fritz Schock said. "They've looked good all summer for us, and they made some great plays for us today in our contact drills." Schock is excited for school to begin next week, as he's implementing study tables and getting the help of a counselor to make sure the players' grades are where they need to be. "I want our guys to know they can play college football if they really want to," Schock said. "The key to that is staying on top of things academically. Some of the schools our guys can get into are private schools with higher academic standards. So we need to have everyone taking care of business in the classroom from the very beginning. I had to take a few extra tests to be eligible on signing day when I was a player. I don't want these guys to have to sweat it out like I did." Andrew Sodergren Skip and Skip X Embed X Share Close Naples Daily News sports reporter Adam Fisher gives his highlights from the upcoming 2017 high school football schedules. Adam Fisher / Naples Daily News. Marco Island Academy Manda Rays had a few new faces on the squad, and they're making an immediate impact. Senior linebacker Austin Brooks, senior lineman Rolf and Detanias, junior lineman Seth Looks and junior linebacker / running back Wendy Lutters transferred from Lee over the summer, while senior linebacker / running back Josh Ames moved to Marco Island from the East Coast. "These new faces have stepped up and brought an energy we haven't had in the past," Marco Island Academy coach Damon Coiro said. "Coming from bigger programs, they've really raised the competition level in practice. They've already assumed leadership roles and we're happy to have them on the team." Coiro says the Manda Rays are still working on gelling as a squad ahead of next Friday's preseason game against Boca Raton Street. Andrew S. "You Ray never completely where you want to be, but we're getting there," Coiro said. "The energy level is good. Our biggest goal is developing these players into young men and get them where we want them to be. We'll see where we line up next Friday." Andrew Sodergren. The Golden Eagles held their first full contact practice on Saturday, and coach Bill Kramer not only liked what he saw, he liked what he heard. "It sounded like football," Kramer said. "Some years I'm not happy because the first full contact practice sounds like cotton falling on tissue paper. Not this year." The pop of the pads told the coach that his players were giving a terrific effort. Naples worked on its run game Saturday, and the entire team was enthusiastic. The Eagles are holding their annual preseason team camp at the school Thursday through Saturday. Players will spend the night at the school 2 nights before scrimmaging Saturday morning. The goal is to get rid of any distractions and make it just about football for 3 days. Kramer said. Adam Fisher skip X and bet X share close to Marcus Townsend. Palmetto Ridge running back is the number 9 pick in the Big 15. Special thank you to Sky Zone Fort Myers for letting us photograph the athletes at their site. Andrea Melendez /news-press.com. Palmetto Ridge coach Chris Tukonen has high expectations for the Bears offensive line this season. The Bears return 4 of their 5 starting linemen from last season and add Julian Diaz from Donahue Catholic for a complete line with valuable varsity experience. In the trenches. It takes a little longer for those guys to get used to playing at the varsity level. Tukonen said, we're looking for them to step up and leading the offense. Along with Diaz. Center Sam Schultz. Right tackle Jerry Kraft, right guard Raymond Grills, and left tackle Austin Maynard will make way for the Bears offense. The 5 will be blocking for the Bears' extra offensive boost this season with senior transfers to Marcus Townsend and Jacques Carter. Townsend rushed for 729 yards on 133 carries last season at Gulf Coast, while Carter, Ole's former quarterback, threw for 719 yards on 186 attempts last season. They single quote Ray Division I football players. Tukonen said, we're just looking for them to execute, and when they do that, they're going to take us to where we need to be. Kelly Kribst, John Neumann second-year Celtics coach Damon Jones already has seen benefits from taking his team on a 3-day camp in Tampa last week. Neumann worked on football at the camp, but the biggest bonus Jones has seen is the bond of his players. Last week, after returning from Tampa, the Celtics coach was impressed with his team's ability to encourage each other and keep going during a particularly long and tough drill. I was real proud of the way they responded. Jones said, a lot of times when players get hot and tired, they start yelling and blaming each other. We didn't have any of that. It's single quote as what we talked about all summer, being mentally tough, rallying around each other, not pointing fingers and quitting. You have to bear down and use each other to get through those tough times. Adam Fisher South Fort Myers. The Wolfpack began full contact drills Monday, and coach Brian Kahn was pleased overall with how his squad performed. Not bad for the first day of contact, he said. Things pick up when you put on those pads. You get to do more realistic football type drills. I loved how we started practice. Everybody was involved and pumped up, but that tends to wear off after 2 hours of practice. So we still need to work a little bit of maintaining that intensity and conditioning throughout the practice. Just like last week. Kahn pointed out veteran defenders Cam Neal and Trent Rogers as players who have made their presence felt in the first 6 days of practice. Those 2 in particular have worked hard on a daily basis and have made great strides. Kahn said. The Wolfpack are still splitting snaps pretty evenly among their 3 senior quarterback candidates, Will Morris, Tyler Lackey and Phil Setterquist. We single quote seen a little separation, but we'd really like to evaluate all 3 more. Kahn said, we should know more by the end of the week, but we'd really like to see how they do in game situations. Andrew Sodergren,